Please like and subscribe. Let's grow NAIA basketball. Thank you. Cascade Hoops Talk, bringing the world NAIA basketball one podcast at a time. Cascade Hoops Talk, how is everybody doing today? It's Wednesday, January 24th. It's almost January. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, short list of games last night, some games in the River States. We're going to go through those real quick. And then we're going to have Justin Parnell, head men's basketball coach, Oregon Tech, Hustlin Owls, talk about his team in the Cascade Conference. So why don't we get right to it? And let's go through that River States action tonight. Alice Lloyd defeated Indiana Southeast 98-85. West Virginia Tech was able, Benway gave them a good battle for a bit, and then IU East fell to Ohio Christian. IU East just really struggling this season. Great program, though. They'll definitely be back. So looking at those standings, St. Mary's Woods and then Park, Shawnee State, really right at the top here with West Virginia Tech right behind them. I believe, and somebody could correct me, I believe these two face each other this week or Saturday. Anyway, they face each other next. That's a game you're definitely going to want to watch, but still a good race there in the River States. So we're going to listen to Justin Parnell. He's head men's basketball coach, Oregon Tech. Everybody knows that's a program I've been around all my life, and got to know these guys pretty well. But we're going to listen to Coach Parnell talk about his Hustlin' Owls this season. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. I got Justin Parnell. He's head men's basketball coach, Oregon Tech, Hustlin' Owls. How you doing, Coach? Thanks for being on.
Doing great, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
You're 14-3. You've won, 8 out of the last 9. Just talk about your team this season.
It's obviously been a really good start to the year. I think in the non-conference, we played such a tough schedule and had some really good road wins. And I think that's where I've been most impressed with this team is the way we've taken care of business on the road, except for one game. We won at Jessup early in the year, which was a great win on the road, at Ottawa, another fantastic road win, at Southern Oregon, in a rival game. And I just think the group showed, a lot of togetherness and toughness on the road. And, the one road game we lost, at LC State where, they're playing about as well as anybody. And probably the one game I was disappointed how we played, but a big part of that was LC State and how well they're playing, and they're just a really good ball club. So, good position we put ourselves in early, and we've kind of taken care of business, and now, we got to finish this thing.
Before I want to talk about your team, but before we do that, I got to ask you about your game Saturday night. I'm sure it just gave you fits thinking about how that happened, but what'd you miss? Your first 15 shots or something? You went down 22-0 with 12 minutes to go. Just an amazing turnaround. You ended up outscoring, 41-15 the last 12 minutes. You went into halftime up by 4, and then it was just a fist fight the second half. I'm sure as a coach that slow start just still gives you heartburn, but just talk about, that game and how in the world did you turn it around?
Well, obviously not an ideal start.
No.
I don't really, I've refused to watch it. So probably a lot of different things. I kind of felt that we were a little flat kind of all day. We had a couple of guys, we were kind of nursing some injuries that we needed to play a lot of minutes, and Corbin's a tough team with, great culture, and you knew they were going to, come out and throw punches early, and they did. And we got down 10-0, which, it happens every now and then, but we couldn't figure it out. We missed a couple tough shots. We had some bad possessions, didn't guard, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a huge hole. And at that point, you're just hoping not to get embarrassed on your home floor. But I'll give our guys credit. They kind of hung in there. And, once we were able to see a couple baskets, go through, we were kind of off and running. And Cam Osborne, I thought, was probably, without a doubt, the difference there. He kind of just took it to a different level and said enough's enough and played like a veteran should. And I think once we kind of got rolling, switched some things defensively and got them out of rhythm, we were able to get some stops and get out in transition and get some easy buckets against their good defense. So, then I think, just kind of snowballed. We got our crowd into it. I just kept saying, if we can get it to 10 at the half, we're going to be in good shape. And then, if we can get it to 5 at the half, we're going to be in good shape. And then all of a sudden, we tie it up and then go up 4, and just can't say enough about, how the guys battled and stuck together and kind of gritted that one out. And we knew they wouldn't go away in the second half, but I thought we were really, really good offensively in the second half and got some stops when we needed them, and came out with a win against really good Corbin team.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the crowd. I don't think the crowd sat down the last 10 minutes of the first half. It was the team was hot.
They're probably tired of sitting for the first 10 where they had nothing to cheer about. And it was almost embarrassing. We scored our first point of the game. Everybody's cheering, cheering for a third grade basketball team that scores 5 points a game when they finally make one. So it was just a horrendous start. But I'll give a lot of credit to Corbin for the way they came in and, kind of punched us in the mouth over and over.
You mentioned Cam Osborne. You got all five of your starters are in double digits. But Cam Osborne's leading your scoring. He's kind of your bucket man this year. Just talk about Cam's game.
Well, he's doing it on both ends of the floor this year, and I've been super proud of him. And when he came in his freshman year, we knew he was going to be a really good player, and he just had some tough breaks. He had a couple season-ending injuries and just had some really unfortunate things happen. And I think this year he's pretty much fully healthy and worked on his game a lot. He's strong, he's fit, and we're seeing what he's capable of. And he's averaging, I think, around 14 for us, and he's one of our most unselfish players, doesn't force anything. And I think, when he decides to take over, you see performances like he had this weekend where he had 25 against Bushnell, 27 on Saturday against Corbin. He's certainly capable of that, but, he's a very unselfish player. He's a team guy. He's a ball mover. He's doing a heck of a job on the defensive end, and he's a leader. And I just think that's what, when you're going to have a good year, your vets, your upperclassmen got to have great years. And he's doing that on the floor, and he's doing a heck of a job of leading this team. And I'm just proud of him for hanging in there through his career, and just about everything that could go wrong for him early in his career did. And he hung in there, and he's a Tech guy, and now he's kind of reaping some of those benefits.
Oregon Tech basketball has a long history of point guards. Jameson Guerra, he's leading the country in assists. He has a 4-to-1 assist ratio. He's really your little engine that could. Talk about his game.
Yeah, he just doesn't really get sped up, and you just can't make him play faster than he wants to, and he doesn't force much, which is pretty impressive for how many assists he gets. And we always make it pass and make good decisions. I think this year where he's just been so good is the way he pushes the ball in transition, consistently. And he did that all right early in his career. Just we couldn't get him to push the ball as consistently as we had wanted. And I think this year he's really figured that out and mastered it. And it's just put so much pressure on the defense to get back, every time, because he's just so he's so quick up and down the floor. I think he's probably one of the better point guards on the West Coast for small college basketball. And and he's still got another year where he's got improvements he can make to his game, but he's pretty darn good right now.
You talk about him pushing the ball. I mean, you got to give credit to his old high school teammate Blake Jensen, big guy who just takes off and gets a lot of layups, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And with our transition, we got to have all five guys sprinting the floor. And if one person doesn't do their job, then we're not going to get the looks we want. If the bigs don't sprint, it doesn't force wings to kind of get back and cover the basket. And if our wings don't sprint, our big's not going to get the one over the top. So, it takes everybody, and it definitely starts with our bigs, Cody and Blake, and the way they run the floor and put pressure, on the wings to get back. And I'm just proud of our guys. They've done a heck of a job in transition. It's kind of our, what we do here. We get out, we run the lanes, and it's amazing, the impact you can make on a good defensive team if you're going to force them to get back every time.
Keegan Shivers is shooting 40% from three, but something people don't talk about is he's got almost 9 rebounds a game. He's not that big a guy. How does he get so many rebounds?
He doesn't screen anybody out, so he's always around the rim. I jokingly say that, but with Keegan, he has a real knack for the defensive boards. I don't know if you can really teach it. He's got a good nose for the ball, and part of rebounding is just effort. Like, you have to go every time. And if you're a good offensive rebounder, it's not necessarily because you're a great athlete or leaper. It's just that you're consistently going to get a board every time. And numbers wise, it's going to go your way every now and then. And I just think he does a really good job of that on the defensive boards, that he's always there, whether it's lean in or, finding a hole where you can get in there and get a board. And, he doesn't get enough credit for that. 9 offensive rebounds from a wing speaks volumes about, maybe his IQ or how hard he works on that end.
As you know, I've watched Oregon Tech basketball many, many, many years. I think this is one of your better offensive teams. You seem to have, weapons at all. You got good inside guys. You got guys who can shoot the ball, guys who can penetrate. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of our better offensive teams in a long time, especially efficiency-wise. I think part of that is our transition. We've done a really good job of that this year. I don't think, part of the transition is sometimes you can play too fast and take some poor early shots. And I think we do a really good job of not taking those gray area shots, from 26 to 22 seconds in the shot clock where, it's kind of a 50-50 look and, we work it around to get something good. And I think part of the reason is our guard play. Cam and Jamison are pretty dynamic and can make plays and are unselfish. And, you surround them with shooters and bigs that can, get you a bucket on the block every now and then. I just think we just have some good pieces and it's well-rounded and they're unselfish. But, the biggest part of an offensive team is you got to be able to shoot the ball. And we've shot it really well this year, 40% from three in league. And that's just going to impact a lot. Shooting is really kind of the separator of good teams and bad teams. And, I just think we have guys that take good shots and shots that they can make.
So as a coach, how do you balance that? Because as you said, you shoot 40% from three, but you don't take a ton of threes. What's your philosophy with getting it inside versus are the threes opportunity shots or?
Yeah, I think we'd like to take a few more than we do. I think part of the reason we don't take a lot is we do score a lot in transition. Mm-hmm. And, obviously transition threes are not as going to be a high percentage as something at the rim in transition. So, that's going to take a little bit away from, what we do from the perimeters. We're trying to get shots at the rim in transition, and that's going to take away some of the opportunities. And I think the other part is Cam and Jamison are getting in the paint a lot, and we got some guys that cut well. And like I said, I think we'd like to shoot more threes, but there's kind of a few things that impact that. And, you'd think we're shooting 40%. You want to shoot more, but maybe the reason we're shooting 40% is because we're taking good looks, not average looks.
Yeah. Well, me personally, I'd take one in the paint anytime over a three because I just think so many good things happen when you get in the paint.
Yeah. And I think we've done a good job of attacking the rim in, a multitude of different ways. I think I haven't looked at it in the last couple of weeks, but, a few weeks ago we were getting fouled more than any team in the country. And I just think that's guys being disciplined, getting into the paint and making good decisions.
So two big wins this weekend, Bushnell and Corbin. This weekend, you head out to Caldwell, going to take on College of Idaho on Friday, and then a tough trip into LeGrand, Eastern Oregon. They're having a little bit of a down year, but that is a brutal place to play. What is it going to take for the Hustlin Owls to have some success this weekend?
Well, we got to get better on the defensive end. We gave up 98 on Friday and 84 on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And I think that's been kind of our thing all year is, we've been pretty darn good offensively in just about every game. And if we want to go from beating, good teams to beating great teams, we got to do it on both ends of the floor. And we just haven't been able to quite do that. So that's really going to be the key is we're still kind of searching for that defensive identity and, where can we get our key stops to get us out in transition. And I think you look at, the games that we've lost against great teams, Grace, we gave up 84. College of Idaho, I want to say 78, 80. We just put ourselves in a tough spot if we're playing a team that's very good defensively like Grace and College of Idaho. And then I think the other team we lost to, LC State, is playing as good as anybody. And they're a great defensive team. And we had a slow start there. And, when you don't have your 55% from the field night, you got to be able to get some stops. And we haven't been able to do those in those three losses. If we feel like if we can hold teams 75 or below, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win in any game. And you look at the games we've lost, that's where we've struggled. So definitely our focus going into College of Idaho Eastern, obviously C of I, defending national champs, and, as good as anybody in the country, if not the best team in the country, is going to take a special effort. And Eastern Oregon's that team that, struggled early, but don't look now. They're kind of fighting back into it. And they're a team that wouldn't surprise me one bit if they jump into the top four in the league before it's all said and done.
Yeah, Coach Kemp does a great job there. Coach, Oregon Tech always has had great community support, huge crowds filling Danny Miles Court. I know Oregon Tech has always prided itself on the crowds, better crowds than 91 in a NC2A Division I schools. Talk about the crowd you get and the support from the Basin.
Yeah, it's pretty special. And, I think it's the reason we get a lot of the recruits that we get. They want to play in front of, a special environment. And it's not just the crowd that we, the support we get on the court. I think makes it a really good home court advantage. But there's so many other things where, these fans are having the teams over for dinner, and they, creating relationships with different families. And, I just think Oregon Tech's been a solid pillar in this community for a long time. And when you live in a small town that has gone through recessions and, different economic issues, the impact of small community, I think Oregon Tech's just been that rock that's always been there and something people can count on. And it's a great family event to come out to. And I don't know, it's hard to explain to anybody from the outside just how special this place is. Coach Miles built it over 45 years, and we're just trying to take good care of it and recruit new fans. But it just makes for a special place for our coaches and our recruits and our current players. And I just can't say enough about how much the loyal support here means.
It's got to be a cool place to play basketball when that place gets filled up, huh?
Oh, it is. Especially when you have a game like Saturday night where it takes a kind of a monumental effort to win, and the crowd gets rocking. And I do think that plays a huge part, because we had every reason to quit, and we score a couple buckets and crowd gets a little louder and our guys start believing a little bit more, and then the next thing you know, you're on a big run. And it's pretty cool, and just happy to be here.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking time to get with me today. I want to wish you luck as you continue through the Cascade Conference. Everybody knows I'm an Oregon Tech fan, so I hope you win.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for giving me the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill. And again, I know I've told you before, but I'll say it again, just all that you do to support NAIA basketball doesn't go unnoticed, and we appreciate it so much.
Well, I appreciate that, Coach. That's Coach Justin Parnell, head men's basketball coach, Oregon Tech. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Bill.
Hey, thanks a lot to Coach Parnell and to Oregon Tech. They have that big matchup with College of Idaho on Friday night. We'll be out in Caldwell. We'll bring you probably a pregame, and we'll definitely bring you post-game interviews from that game. It's a little. Sometimes it can be a little hard to get service in there, so hopefully I can do some in-game updates. But we'll be out there. It's always a good game. Oregon Tech, College of Idaho is always a good game. So anyway, thank you, Coach Parnell. So tomorrow, we're going to have Coach Chris Wright, the unbeaten Langston Lions. He's going to talk Langston Lion basketball, and you're definitely going to want to tune in for that. Thanks a lot for listening. Tomorrow, we got a whole set of games to go through, and Coach Chris Wright. So tune in tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.